Hello. I need to move this out of the way. There we go. Ha ha ha. Way. What? It's just too. Okay, hi. I'm Kat. I am I'm schizophrenic. That's it. That's all. That's the live stream. The live stream is I have schizophrenia and I'm just trying to play in spite of this bullshit right here. So you can't see it, and you can't hear it, but I see it and I hear it, and I have to deal with it somehow. So okay. Sometimes it's just a matter of just I remember what the song was supposed to sound like before. So I can try to play it. I'm working. Okay, work in progress. Hi, I am just here trying to just get used to people seeing me in like my natural habitat. I've spent the last almost 15 years, 13 and a half years being technical. I was diagnosed out of the military with schizophrenia, and I have been dealing with it since 2010, which means almost 15 years of my life. And hi, hello. Thank you. I appreciate your feedback. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. Sorry, I just like I get so used to people trolling and just kind of popping on here to say random shit. I stopped looking at the chat for a while. So hi, hello, hi Andy, hi sushi. I love sushi. I love sushi. I love it's my favorite. Salmon. What's my favorite sushi roll? I don't even know. What's my favorite sushi roll? Garlic. No, but that's not a kind of sushi roll that everybody knows about.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember, but I like sushi.
All the sushi.
And I love music, and that's why I'm here. I'm just trying to figure out how to fucking cope because I don't have medication that works. I have what we call treatment-resistant schizophrenia, which means is that there's just no treatment for me that works. The only time that I ever had anything that really helped was Geodon, and it just gave me a side effect that I couldn't live with. And be like, well, what's the side effect? Well, it's imagine like your eyes get if you remember being a child and having your parents say to you like, don't roll your eyes, you'll get stuck like that. Okay, ocular crisis happens when you're on a medication that affects your eyes, and it makes your eyes lock upward, fix upward, like you're stuck, like they're stuck upward, and you can't look away. Your eyes are frozen open, and it induces a panic attack, unrivaled. I don't think I could describe the kind of panic is, it just feels existential. Like you just feel like you're dying and you're alive and you're stuck. Like almost like you're being dangled over a cliff's edge. It's what it feels like. And so yeah, so I had to stop taking the Geodon, and because of that, I haven't had a medication that really helps with voices. And people ask me, well, what do your voices say? Well, I don't have I have command voices. I have voices that tell me to do things, but generally speaking, my voices have to do with telling me to do things to myself, or why didn't I do that, or you should have done this. 90% of my life is listening to, there's one voice that just kind of describes everything that's going on and talks like as if I'm not in the room. And then other voices that are commenting on everything that I do and everything I say. So it's been a challenge because I remember my life before I had schizophrenia, but I don't remember the memories without the voices attached to them. So my trauma therapist had told me, like, when you are really dysregulated and you're in crisis, because you may not know. I mean, maybe, I feel like there's so much information about schizophrenia out there, especially because there are a few people on YouTube now doing this. But I guess I'm just the only person. I hadn't heard of any like schizophrenic authors or musicians or anybody who is alive who's still publishing their work or like functioning in society. And I was like, am I the only person out here who is? I can't be alone. I can't be the only person. So I just thought I would put out a flare, and this is what I'm doing. I'm just trying to connect with people who are connected with schizophrenia in some way. Either you have it, or you know somebody who has it, or you knew somebody who in your life, family who had it, and you have some idea of what it's like to see things that other people don't see and hear things that other people don't hear, and to wake up with that every day and to go to sleep with that every night, and to it's almost like it's like living with a ghost. Basically, it's very, very similar experience to living almost like a haunted house, because for me, I see bodies, I see dead people. It's, if you've seen 100 Years of Solitude on Netflix, it is spot on for me in terms of psychosis. Like, I see these little boys and they stand in the hallway, or they leer at me, or they say my name, or they might say something I can't quite make out, and it's usually in French. And so some of my hallucinations are associated with like things I've been through, or people I've seen, or things I've done. And some of them have just nothing to do with anything. They don't make any sense. Like seeing two of you, seeing two or three of you, or you have three eyes. Sometimes I'll look at Shendra, my fiance, and she'll have like three eyes, or her irises. If you look at the irises of your eyes, sometimes when I'm looking at them, your irises start turning, and it's very distracting, and I can't help my response to it. So it's just a matter of like spending the last several years with therapists trying to learn how to like not necessarily just ignore what I see, but to at least be able to process it more calmly. And be like, well, how can you smile and laugh? Well, it's like, well, I've been dealing with this. It's just dealing with it, living with it. It's something that happened to me. I came out of the army and I'd been through some stuff, and I've been through some stuff. And I hadn't really talked about any of it, and I just think it began to manifest through schizophrenia. I just think that the things that I'd been through and done and seen and everything all my life long had just all compounded together. And I had schizophrenia in my family. My grandmother's twin brother had it, and I remember that. And I remember him being the uncle I had to go fetch for the Thanksgiving meal, and he's the Uncle Bill who talked to himself and or talk to people who weren't there, and because he's clearly having a conversation with somebody else, but I just couldn't see that person. So I just thought, well, it's just Uncle Bill, but nobody ever said the word schizophrenia. So I went through school, and I moved around. We moved around a lot. We dealt with homelessness and domestic violence. My mom's husband, for 15 years, really wreaked havoc on our family. Talking about like molestation and abuse and just the standard DV stuff that you probably don't want to hear all about. But it just, all of that combined to make for, I think, the perfect storm for schizophrenia in my life, because I just didn't expect. I didn't expect it to happen. I thought I was gonna go in the army, and then I was gonna be a teacher, and then I was gonna be an FBI agent. I thought I was gonna do so many different things, and in a way, I did meet my goals, but I didn't. It just, nothing ever went according to plan. Like, I'm best laid plans is how it goes. They say the college is stressful, but like I joined the military at 17. I was 17, and I couldn't wait to get out in the world. I couldn't wait to start living. I thought I was already 50 when I was 17, there was nothing that was going to stop me from joining the army. I was going to join the army because I believed that the army was the only way I could get money for college. My parents didn't save money for college for me. They didn't think it was going to be that expensive. So they didn't put money aside. And so I was like, the army is like the only chance I have to get any money to become a teacher. So that's what I did. And then I got more than I bargained for, because, when you're young in the army, you grow up in the army, it really does shape you and change you. And so, yeah, it was just a lot. So I've just been trying to use music as a therapeutic tool to just sort of realign myself with my purpose in life, with who I am and why am I here. What does schizophrenia mean for my life? Like, it just means that I'm supposed to just try to help people who are like me. And I'm just trying to do that by showing you that you can live and you can get help and you can get a roof over your head. And I've been able to work. I've basically worked since I was 16 on and off, like my whole life. I was looking at my Social Security earnings statement the other day. I was like, for somebody with schizophrenia, I've managed to make do, but I've also been hospitalized 5 times. It's difficult to explain exactly, because it's just there's a man standing in the corner, and that man will stand there the entire time and just look at me like he's gonna come get me. And there's nothing I can do. I have to ignore him. And so most of the therapy that I received was like, just ignore it, or put some music on, or play your guitar. But what you don't understand is that this person sounds like they're right behind me. It's like we're sharing the same space. It's not my, like, subvocal speech is your internal monologue, like my voice inside my mind. I can hear my voice just fine, and I know what I sound like. This is a man's voice, and it's like I always did think it was a chip. I could have swore that like the army had put something in me, and I was going down that train, and people were just like, whoa, you're being paranoid. And I was just like, well, when you are working in military intelligence, it makes it easier to become a little more paranoid, because we do have technology that is that small that can go in your body, and we do use that technology. So I know that because I was in the army and I did that job, but I don't know what they did to me. So I was like, okay, I don't know. I just know that I had extra shots. I know that I had stuff that other people didn't have when I was in basic training, but they said it was because I didn't have the chicken pox. I didn't have the chicken pox when I was a kid, even though I was exposed to it. So they gave me the chicken pox vaccine when I went to basic training. So I knew that that was the vaccine, but I don't believe that chips are in vaccines. I don't believe that the government's chipping us through vaccines. It's just that I do believe that the chips that are being made are going to eventually have these LLMs, these chat GBTs, these Copilot, Gemini, DeepSeek, any of these AI LLMs. As a linguist, as a language person, my job was to translate and interpret. And I've been hyperlexic my whole life, been very sensitive to language, words, sounds. So schizophrenia makes all that worse because it's hard for me to process information. It's just hard for me to process it and parse it out with real, not real, real, not real, real, imaginary. So yeah, but for the most part, it was just the military experience was a nightmare, and I went into it as a French language interpreter, a linguist, and during the time I was in the military, it was just a constant struggle of I happened to be good at French. I happen to be good at languages, and my whole life I've been attacked. I've been accused of things because I happen to just speak this language well, but I never tried to show off or anything. It was just that I happened to be speaking French with the staff, and then I have Marine SEALs, I have Marine Corps captains and SEALs saying, they're showing you special treatment. They're treating you like you're the favorite, and it's like, well, I'm dealing with jealousy, petty jealousy. I cannot understand this. I was an E nothing, and these men are telling me like they're playing favorites because you already speak French, so you should go like back off, stop talking. I was like, okay. But when it was time to fucking save lives, when it was time to, Kat is needed because Kat is the only one who understands the difference between the subjunctive. Then it was like, oh yeah, now we need Kat. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Ready and waiting, right here, ready and waiting, really rare to go. But this, I mean, music had always been a part of my life, and it was always important. So I've just been trying to figure out how to calm the brain. I can't do anything about that chip thing. I don't know if there even is a chip. I don't know. But it just feels like it because it's so localized to like right behind my ear. People are like, well, where are the voices coming from? I don't know. They say it's coming from inside your head. It's your mind can't tell the difference between your internal monologue and the external world. I'm like, well, but I can. I know what I sound. I don't know. I know what I sound like. Anyway, so a little introduction. I know it's a little very flighty. I'm just doing this live. I mean, I'm just trying to show people who I am in real time because it's not easy just living like this, feeling like I'm constantly in a state of flux. With this fucking guy who just sits here and tells me like just everything that I do is a waste of time. Just like drown it out. People ask me why always so loud. It's like, well, because it sounds like there's 12 fucking people in the room with me. I don't have a quiet mind to begin with ADHD, and with external stimulus or even perceived external stimulus, which to me is real because it shares the space with me, I can't tell. And so I tend to compete with I'm being yelled at, so I raise my voice because I'm being yelled at, so I get louder. And I have to compete with that. And it's really fucking frustrating. It's just really frustrating. And just telling me to shut the fuck up all the time. Like, just all the time. I'm going to see if I can find a song I can play. The people have said, why don't you go to the VA? I did go to the VA. And there's no medication. There's just nothing for me. The newest medication that they put out on the market, it's called Cobenfy. It's the newest, the first medication for schizophrenia in over 50 years. And everyone's so excited about this because it's the kind of drug it is. It's like well, my psychiatrist actually told me straight up, like he handed me the samples, and as I was walking away, he said, just FYI, essentially that's a nerve gas. I was like, oh, it's I can't remember agar. There's a special word for it, but it's kind of medication that's in the same family of like nerve agents, and they were using that to try to tap into a different aspect of schizophrenia in the brain. And so I was like, oh, fuck yeah, give me them pills, you know what I mean? Give me them samps, you know what I mean? He slapped me with them samples, and I walked away thinking I got the cure for schizophrenia in my hot little hands. I don't care if it looks like tiny little turds. I will swallow the whole fucking thing if it means getting a moment of sleep and rest without being yelled at and called a cunt or a pussy, or I'm going to rape you with knives, that kind of thing. Like if I could go one night where I didn't have to fall asleep listening to the dulcet sounds of excoriation and abuse and condemnation, I would do that in a heartbeat. So I did. And we went away for the holidays and started the Cobenfy. And as soon as I started taking it, I felt like very full. As soon as I swallowed it and I went down my stomach, my stomach felt very tight. And I began to get very nauseated very easily, and I'd start throwing up. And so at one point, like we went to down to SoCal to see family, and I had to get on an airplane, and I had never thrown up on an airplane before. I've been flying my whole life. I've been flying since a child. Never gotten sick on an airplane before. But we were sitting there. I was in the middle seat. I was in the middle seat, and the lady, poor thing, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna wake this lady up. There's no way I would even make it to the lavatory in time. So I just grabbed the little puke bag, the little bag they have in the front of the seat in front of you. And I just
the neatest, quietest little puke. It was very demure.
into my puke bag, and
very demure little puke.
Thank you. Yes, I really hope I get the help I need too. It would be really nice to have help. I just wanted a medication that doesn't make me see my eyeball seize or make me throw up 6 times a day. That's all I'm asking for. Why is it so hard? You know? What drugs have I taken in life? I've done drugs. Oh, I have. Tell me all about it. Tell me more. Okay, so what drugs have I done? Weed. I smoked weed. I started smoking weed at 25. And I smoked cigarettes in the Army. I smoked clove cigars in the Army here and there, but I didn't really smoke unless I was with people. So I don't really like do the drugs. I've tried shrooms. I've tried shrooms twice. Yeah. Helped me a lot. Helped me with anxiety. I don't know how to explain that. Shrooms, they destroyed my fear of death. I don't fear death anymore, and I have not feared death ever since I shroomed the very first time. So that's something that psilocybin's done for me. It's actually like cured me of my existential fear of dying, of going through the process of death or being afraid of the pain of dying. That's always been a part of my life, is the fear of death. I was homeschooled. It all started in a little radio station in Fresno, California. I was born into like a nuclear Christian family, and so prayer. My parents believe in speaking in tongues. My father always wanted to be a minister, but and he is one now. He is a minister now. But he was a bus driver primarily. He drove the bus for the Orange County Transit in Southern California for 25 years, and then continued to work for the company another like 10 or so as like a dispatcher. And so I grew up in a household where religion was very, very, very important. In my household, we listened to, I would say almost daily, music that I would wake up to would be like Keith Green, Sandy Patty, Point of Grace. The irony in what I'm about to say, I hope. I was raised absolutely never to like associate with Mormons, for example. Just as an example, we had neighbors up the street who were Mormon. I didn't know what that was. I didn't even know anything about LDS. I didn't know anything. I was 5, 6, 7 years old. What did I know? They were just little girls I wanted to play with. So I was told never to play with those kids. And it's just stuff like that. It's just like the way you're raised, the social conditioning and like the beliefs that your parents have, they raise you with. Well, I didn't care. I wanted to go play with those girls, so I did, and I got caught, and I will never forget the look on my mom's face when she saw me playing with these kids. But the greatest irony of it all is that I'm engaged to somebody who's from the LDS faith or ex-LDS. So it's funny the way things work out. And they talk about schizophrenia having to do a great deal with trauma. Like people with schizophrenia, I was just reading a new report that people with schizophrenia, 9 out of 10 of us have a history of childhood trauma. So we're not talking about, getting spanked once. We're not talking about, when people say trauma, we are talking about like a real trauma, not like an accident, a bike accident that you fell and you scraped your knee or something. And that was really, really incredibly memorable experience. But we're talking about repeated abuse, and we're talking about neglect of the highest order. And so these folks that you see out in the street, like me, talking to the walls, that many of them have gotten so bad because they have gotten into and off the rails with drugs. That absolutely it's gotten worse for them because they are no longer they are no longer in touch with objective reality. But that doesn't mean that they can't never be. That just means that we need to get them help. But it's just the thing is that it's really important to understand that that drugs don't cause schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a neurological condition, like just kind of like MS, kind of like Parkinson's. They're not the same, but like in the sense that it's something that happens to a person, and it has to do with whether or not their genes, whether there's a genetic predisposition for it already in your family, whether or not there's enough stressors in your life, and whether or not your nervous system can handle those stressors. And so for most people with schizophrenia, there's some kind of break, some kind of psychotic break, a watershed event in their life. They land in a hospital, jail, or something, and then they're told you have schizophrenia. And that's how they find out. And so that was no different for me. I was wandering around the street talking to dead French actresses in the middle of the night. So people were like, let's get her out, literally out of the middle of the road and into a hospital. And once they said, hey, this was what was going on, I was like, oh, I think I might have schizophrenia then, because my uncle had it. And what you described sounds like what my uncle did or said or did or behaved. So that's kind of how it was. And they were like, well, it's PTSD. My family always thought it was just PTSD. But yeah, it's not that I did drugs and that made me schizophrenic. I didn't do any drugs. I was like 22 when I was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and I hadn't even tried weed. So no, it's not about drugs. There is psychosis that is induced by drug use, of course. Usually that state is temporary. Of course, unless somebody spends their entire life doing it, then in which case, yeah, you're going to cause some damage to your brain. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it just isn't about drugs or Ouija boards. Somebody asked me once if a Ouija board, like if I like I invited demons, basically. Like I'm my dad told me like I should sleep under, I should have a Bible under my pillow when I sleep at night. Yeah, my father really truly does believe in demons and all of that. So I don't know what's the difference between that and there's a guy following me who stands in the corner of my house. I just that's my experience. So I was diagnosed with psychosis in 2012. I checked myself in the hospital because like I said, my ex had seen me in the middle of the street and was like, "You need help, so let's get you help." And so I went to get help, and that's what they told me I had. That's my story. And that was in 2012, and I was 22 when that happened. So yeah, women tend to get a diagnosis a little bit later on, but because I just think abuse, homelessness, domestic violence, and you mix that with military service, which there was trauma during my military service. I experienced a sexual assault during my military service. I experienced a lot of different traumas that I just can't go into right now. It would just take me all day to even cover it. And also there's OPSEC. I can't talk about some of those things about the Army because there's still things going on in the Army to this day in Africa, and I just can't put anybody else at risk by saying anything about that. So it's just better to just understand that, yes, there was military traumas. I lost somebody I really cared about when I was in the Army, and then I fell in love, and I'm gay, and that's something you can't do. You can't be openly gay in the Army in between 2007 and 2011. You couldn't be openly gay in the Army, so I had to very much hide that. It's very difficult because you feel like your siblings. These are my sisters, these are my brothers in arms, and I can't tell them how in love I am with this wonderful woman. And eventually, in the end, the relationship didn't happen, but it was sort of like one of those unrequited things in the end. But I ran away. I ran away to Australia because I fell in love with this woman, and I just the heartbreak of being told like, nope, can't be with you, not bisexual, I'm bi-curious, and then that rejection. So it's just a series of a lot of different just like actual trauma, and then compounded with emotional just harm and hurts that and wounds that didn't quite heal. But I think those aren't the things that I hear. Like, God, thank God I don't hear Monica's voice. Like, thank God I don't hear Pam's voice. Like, thank God I don't hear some of my ex's voices. But I do hear my grandmother's voice. I hear my mom's voice. I even hear my fiance's mom's voice sometimes. So it just depends. But I just try to like center the experience on, look, everybody goes through life questioning what's real and what's not. We're all around us right now, especially with the news cycle, constantly questioning, is that real? Are you for real, or is that not real? Delusion or not? It's like the game of the century is this true or not? Is that real or not? So at least I don't feel as alone in my constantly questioning my sanity, constantly questioning whether or not what I saw was real, because at least I know other people also have those types of experiences. It's not like I'm the only person who's ever thought they saw somebody. It's not that I thought that I saw somebody. I actually do see a man who stands in their corner. He stands about 6'2". He's about my dad's height. He wears a red baseball cap and a FUBU jacket, like a FUBU jacket. It has like the stitching and embroidery on it. Yeah, and he just stands there and he just kind of like lisps back and forth, and he just kind of looks at me like, just watches me. He just watches me. And I have to walk by him, and I have to interact with people at the door. When people come to the door, knock on the door, say hi, or they drop off their groceries or whatever it might be, and I have to go open the door, I have to walk by him. And so like when I get up out of bed in the morning, I wake up to the sound of being told that, I need to get the fuck out of bed. I'm a fat fucking asshole and I need to get up. And that's what I wake up to. I wake up to somebody saying that to me. Imagine your mom's voice telling you to wake the fuck up, fat ass, every day for the rest of your life, and you can't stop it. You can't turn it off, It's just like, it's very startling to like wake up that way every day and then feel like, oh, okay, that's not a real person's voice. That's control. That's just control. Control is what I call that voice. That voice is called control. And control, constantly trying to control me and trying to tell me to force me to do anything at all. And anything that I do is always met with some kind of, well, that was fucking retarded. Yeah. It's like, that's what they say. You're retarded. Why would you do that? What the fuck is wrong with you? These are what they say. What is wrong with you? No one cares. 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 And that's all the time. It's like every time I open my mouth, it's like, shut the fuck up. No one cares what you have to say. And I have to keep thinking about what it is. It's like, we the people, in order to form a more perfect union, do ordain and establish or something, this constitution for the, and it's just like trying to keep myself on track, trying to keep focused on what am I talking, what did I even get on here to do? Oh yeah, I was just gonna play music. But it's hard to concentrate. I'm trying to remember what it sounds like when he sings that line in Baba O'Reilly. There's this song Baba O'Reilly by The Who, and I love this song, and I want to play this song right now. But it's too difficult because there's somebody yelling at me constantly saying, nobody cares. What the fuck is wrong with you? You sound stupid, And it's like, I can't help it. I can't help that, like, this is my brain. I'm gonna have some tea. Thank you. I'm gonna try and play a song.
Hydrate or dihydrate?
We were waiting on we're supposed to be waiting for somebody to come assess for in-home care to help get some things done. I have bad knees. The army destroyed my knees. My knees are fucked. I'm 35 and I have bursitis in both of my knees to the point where I basically can't just get up or down unassisted. So it's just been a bitch. So it's time to stop talking and start playing. Let me think if I can find why. Oh, Steely Dan. I love Steely Dan. Where do I live? I live in Seattle, or outside of Seattle. Yeah, not Seattle proper, but I live outside of Seattle, and within driving distance. I used to work at the Space Needle. I was a safety officer, graveyard. Well, I worked all the shifts, but I worked graveyard most recently, and I really like that shift. But the Space Needle is a mess. Like, not to, I don't know if I need to spill any tea here or not. I guess I'm gonna spill some tea. The Space Needle is fucked, okay? Like, the people who own the Space Needle are fucked. The people who run the Space Needle are fucked. The CEO is fucked. The guy's an Army veteran, and he's sitting here telling me about how he was in the Army, but he doesn't give a shit about us. Like, all of our team, like, we had a third of our team were our military veterans, and these guys are just shitting on us. No raises, mold, the mold, the fires, the mold, the everything. Just, this is a company that, again, just proves that anything that becomes an institution over time can't be trusted. I just don't trust institutions. Just like I worked at Disneyland, same thing. Same thing, same basic problem. You know, it's just, they don't care. They don't care about the work that we do. They don't care about the death threats that we take. They don't care about putting ourselves in physical danger and getting punched in the face by unruly guests or people who are drunk and disorderly, essentially, or people threatening us because we're asking them to be safe. And it's like, well, okay. Those people who bring the most value will get raises, and everybody else can go ask their supervisor. So, I was like, I can't keep putting myself, I worked all the overtime. I worked every holiday. I volunteered for every extra shift that was offered. But the company just doesn't recognize, they're just out of touch. They're so out of touch. They think that they're paying a living wage, but they're not. You know, $20, 26 an hour in Seattle isn't enough. They say it takes $169,000 to live here. Well, when you have schizophrenia and you're hearing voices all day long and you're frustrated because you're constantly being tested, constantly your reality is being tested, and you're stressed all the time because someone's always yelling at you and there's always somebody following you around, and you're just doing your best to try to ignore it, and like, oh yeah, like it's not there. Because for me, for the first like several like years of this experience, it's just been like this, where I would just like be walking around like this and people would be like, what's wrong with you? And I would be like, it's a chip. I don't know what to tell you. It's a chip. It's the chip. I don't know what else to say. You know? And then it was like, my therapist was like, okay, so I understand that this is something that like you're having a hard time ignoring, and maybe ignoring it isn't even the right way to go about it. Maybe you should answer back. Maybe you should say, no, I'm gonna turn this dial left. I'm not gonna turn it right. I don't know. It's like, it's just that kind of experience. I don't know. Is there somebody at the door? No? Did they say somebody was here? So I'm saying it's like, one of the weirdest things is like, because I am constantly hearing all kinds of stuff, I'm so used to most of it. I would say like there's 80% of the things that I hear that I know they're hallucinations by now, having had this almost for 15 years. But there's always little surprises, and there's always a question of, did you say that or did you not say that? Because the voices can mimic people I know. They mimic people from the real world. So, yeah, I just do the best I can. But we were waiting because somebody's supposed to be coming over to help us kind of set up a schedule for routines and things. And that's the thing about the social services is we're in Washington State, it's been really helpful. People have been so kind and helpful with information about how to get the right assistance and support. But it's actually getting the systems to work is the problem. Like, I would say 90% of the time when people say, here's a resource you can tap into, or try this for veterans, or try this for schizophrenia, I'd be like, yeah, hell yeah. And I'll go and I'll check it out and I'll dive into it. I'll research it. I'll get a contact information. I'll contact them. Either I don't hear back and I have to follow up 3 or 4 times and then never hear back, or we get into the system and then there's a snafu, some kind of technical issue, a website, a system error or something. And that's the frustration that everybody feels, is that society keeps saying, here's a system. We put a system together. We think it's chef's kiss. Use it. And then I go to try to use the system, but we can't access it because the system itself doesn't work from a technical aspect. So can't say we're all about the future and everything is very cutting edge when we're not actually making systems that work consistently. There's supposed to be somebody here at 11:30. my fiance she was born with congenital defects that affect her mobility, and it's been getting worse, and she's developed a tremor that makes her head shake. So we're able to get somebody to authorize 158 hours of in-home assistance and care. So I'm going back to work full time. And I don't know why I'm doing this without the right supports in place, but I'm doing it. I have Medicaid. At least I was able to get on Medicaid for now until I can get on my insurance for my job. So I just am waiting for the start work tomorrow, and I start a 90-day countdown for the probationary period for the job, and then I'll be able to select which health provider that I want through my employer. But yeah, it's been a journey. Or off pitch. I have to take this to the fucking store. I'm not strong enough to pull it out.
No, we gotta go to the store. We'll just take it and have them do it. Fuck. Have them string it.
I have a thing that I can take.
Have them string it, babe. Don't even try to stress yourself with that.
I don't understand. It wasn't tuning. It wasn't tuning, so
Yeah.
Obviously I kept fucking tuning it up because it wasn't tuned.
No. It'd just be an old string too.
Yeah, these are the manufacturer strings.
Yeah.
These are the strings that came with the guitar that when it was bought and shipped from Indonesia.
In
2020 during the pandemic.
Okay. Yeah, it's porn, I guess.
Okay. All of my guitars have busted strings now. Except for the That's the thing. I have another guitar. Back up. But it's been a minute, so now I have to fucking tune this one. This guitar was a gift from my dad. It was the first guitar that I was ever given by anybody, but it was the first guitar I ever really had of my own. That I wasn't borrowing from somebody else. It dusty. It musty. It flusty. I got